Yeah, ready. A bit of something. Well done.
Okay. So, I'm going to stand about here. How's this look for you?
For me, it looks amazing.
Maybe put the tape, like, kind of, if you can, in the middle of your, whatever we got. All right, here we go in 3, 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Beer is Tasty. My name is Chris.
I'm Brian.
That's Brian.
I'm Brian.
So, Beer is Tasty. We're a show. We talk about beer. Couple
drink
guys.
it,
We
into
love
our
it.
face.
Tell
We
you what
use
we think.
this right here.
So, economic times not so hot. We've had a few requests from you out there. In fact, one very nice gentleman out there donated some money and said, take a look at some of the cheaper beers out there. So we've decided to do a couple of episodes on the cheaper beers.
By the way, I think that's the best possible concept. Give us money to buy cheap beer so we can buy more beer with your money. I think that's great.
So last episode, if you haven't seen that yet, we did the Coors it was like the vented can with the mountains that turn blue if the beer is cold, and if the beer isn't cold, the mountains are gray. So that was our first cheap beer. So the next cheap beer...
Science is what it is. It's not even cheap beer. That's cheap science.
Well, they spent all the money on the can. So in this episode, we're going to review... it's a premium beer. Brian, tell everybody about this premium 24-ounce beer.
Well, this right here is Red Dog, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Red Dog, made out of crap, probably, let's be honest here. But from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is kind of like the home of beer in the greater Wisconsin area.
Red Dog.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel, etc. So this is from Miller. It's got about a 8% ABV.
Okay.
And it's your basic lager. This is all we know about Red Dog right now, except for the fact that it is ridiculously cheap, and you get it in giant 24-ounce cans.
We actually tried not to get it in a can this big.
Yeah, we did try to. We were like, let's just get a little 12-ounce. You can't get it. 24 ounces is the starting point, and then you can get into the 40s. So I figure, you know what? Let's go with this from the Plank Road Brewery.
Yeah.
Let's try this premium beer from Red Dog.
And I like dogs. So I got to figure it's got to be delicious.
That works. As long as Chris likes dogs, it's got to be delicious. All right, so let's give this a whirl here. All right. It's pouring. Pretty. Ooh, you can smell it from a bit away, actually.
It's very clear. It's very see-through clear. I don't know
I
how
have more head than you.
Yeah, we pour differently.
I do that.
We pour.
And well, it has the very stereotypical, very light, yellowy yak pea flavor and color that you expect from cheap American beer.
And it kind of actually smells a little bit like Budweiser, I think. But
the head is your very stereotypical carbonated, cheap lager that we come to expect.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
It's more bitter than I expected.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's got a lot of bitter to it.
It's very watery.
It is. It's very watery, especially after you've swallowed for a bit. It
just like goes away.
Yeah.
Wow. There's very little at all flavor that's sitting on my tongue right now.
Yeah. It's come and go. It is. If you like bitter, it's not bad. And also, one of the nice things about it is, we had a kind of a salty lunch that we went to a walk.
We did.
And I put salt water on my noodles. Thinking,
you have to.
I might want a little salty.
You might want a little salty.
The guy gets it on the walk.
He just starts shaking salt like a crazy man.
Didn't he? Saw that too?
Salt everywhere. It was like a salt massacre.
So a little parched, and this is kind of.
Oh, this kind of hits the spot.
It's kind of crisp.
It's this is not a great beer.
It's crisp-ish.
I'm gonna have to go out on a limb here. This falls under the category of soda pop beers. This is very much a Sprite or a 7-Up of beers.
If you're a guy or a gal and you don't like the flavor of beer, then this is a beer for you. If you don't like the way beer tastes, you might try this beer. What was the alcohol percentage on this guy?
5. So, I mean, it's a little higher than most of your traditional American cheap lagers. Most of them tend to be like 4 to 4.5.
Yeah.
This is a 5. You don't really start, saying, oh my gosh, there's a lot of alcohol in that until you hit around 6 or 7.
What's crazy is, we filled this glass and I still feel like it's
my can is still mostly full. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
honestly, the smell is a little bit like aluminum, to be fair. I mean, I know I just poured it from an aluminum can and all, but... I kind of would like my beer to smell a little less like aluminum. That would be, I think, a big win.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the flavor is decent. It's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
for this cheap of a beer,
You
this
know,
isn't bad.
honestly, if you just wanted something,
I've spent good money on far worse beer.
yeah, and it's not horrible, and we've had
It's
worse
not great.
beers, and you do get a lot of it for the price.
Yeah, you get a ton of it for the price. I mean,
We
this
we bought that Coors in like a 6-pack,
yep.
and I was drinking that for a while afterwards because I just
Yeah.
had so much of it around. Now, this we only bought 2 cans of.
Right.
But
But it's a 24-ounce can.
That's
That's
in a couple
two
of days,
normal cans on top of each other.
if there was a couple of these in the fridge and like I was beer thirsty and I didn't have anything else, I would drink it. And we've had beers where I wouldn't do that.
I love that there's a specific thing, beer thirsty.
Well,
it's not just thirsty for
No, it's-
beer,
it's
and
beer
it's not
thirsty.
thirsty. It's beer thirsty.
It's beer thirsty.
It's
And
beer thirsty.
There's been times where I have had a beer in the fridge that we reviewed that I didn't like, and I've been beer thirsty, and I've really had to have that.
Yeah.
Do I drink it? Do I not drink it? And
Yeah.
with this beer, I would be pretty comfortable re-drinking. I wouldn't be my first beer. Like if I have a
No.
Red Hook ESB in there,
All right, well let's rate
or
this
even a
against.
Coors. I think even a Coors, I would drink a Coors.
I would.
before
Oh yeah, Coors is definitely before this.
Yeah.
See, I actually
you-
kind of
you're
like
a Coors
Coors.
guy,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna go cheap beer, honestly, my preference is to go towards the Coors. That's just the way I roll.
I'm kind of, and this is from Miller.
Yep.
And I'm kind of a Miller.
You're a High Life guy.
I'm a High Life guy.
You
so
like the
for
High
my
Life by
cheap beer.
comparison. See, I know a lot of people that love the High Life,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? The High Life is the champagne of beers. I don't care for champagne that much.
Oh, good call,
I
Ryan.
prefer beer instead of champagne. So
Right.
if you like cheap champagne like Chris does, you'll like the High Life.
Gotcha.
But for me, I'm more of a Coors guy, and honestly, this would be a cheap backup. This for
That's
me,
what it is. It's backup beer.
This for me goes honestly right below PBR. Like I would go for
Really?
a PBR before I'd go for the Red Dog.
I'd be torn on that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I would be torn on that.
You know what it is for me? Honestly, flavor-wise, the PBR and the Red Dog, pretty similar. The alcohol content, pretty similar.
No, actually, I think
What-
this is a little stronger.
A little stronger, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The PBR, I think PBR is a 4.5.
Yeah,
But
okay.
just the same, if you got the two side by side, PBR, come on, it's PBR. It's the Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's
is
been
kind of a
around
historical
for like
kind of a thing.
million years.
Yeah,
Back when they invented water, they're like, well, let's make beer and let's make sure it tastes kind of like
But
water.
like I
and
said,
that's
I
PBR.
like dogs.
But you like dogs.
They
What
got a
if-
horse in the background. That makes me think of
Yeah,
historical
but you know
America.
what? If we're gonna go for that
You're
that logic, I would just drink St. Pauli Girl because it's got that busty barmaid on the front,
associate-
and then
see-
I would just drink that.
You associate PBR with like the 1900s, you know. The
Oh, for
late-
sure.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I could see from
I
that
see
standpoint.
people walking around with weird beards on and like waxed mustaches.
that guy likes
I mean,
PBR.
like, ho, 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 and they hop in their horse carriage drinking a PBR.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. They wouldn't be drinking a Red Dog back then because
true.
it's not classy.
Yeah.
But Red Dog's not bad. You know what? On the rating scale of A to F, I'd probably give it like a C minus.
That's what I was thinking,
D
too.
plus, C minus. It is drinkable. It's passable. It's that kid in class
I'm
who,
going C. I'm
who
not
turned
going,
in all of his work, but it was all really subpar.
I'm not going to go C minus, and here's why. Because I am really thirsty right now, and it's warm out too. Like for Washington right now, it's warm.
Yeah.
And if I'm hot, this is quenching.
A nice light lager is great
And
on a hot day.
I do kind of,
You can't go wrong with that.
I kind of lean towards bitter beer.
Yeah.
I do kind of like my beer to be a little bitter.
I don't care for the sweet beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
more of a bitter beer
It's
guy.
winning some points on that respect too. So I'm going to go solid C, not C minus, not D plus. It's
You
a
know,
C.
I was leaning D plus, but honestly, you're right. No, I keep drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
I keep putting it in my face. That's got to be something, right? So how much did one can of this cost us? It was cheap.
It was really cheap.
It was really, really
Yeah.
ridiculously
Yeah.
cheap. And we did not get it on sale. It wasn't like we went
No.
there and this is a
In
great
fact,
deal on beer.
actually, the grocery store we buy from, that Thriftway, whatever
Yeah,
it
they're
is,
kind of overpriced on the
they
beer.
are way overpriced.
Yeah. So you could, I'm thinking on average you get this for about 2 cents for about
Although,
a gallon of beer.
That is where we bought those tortilla chips when we made the cheese dip. Those are the best damn tortilla chips I've ever had in my
Go
life.
back to the one where that's the Coors episode. Watch the Coors episode
Where
where
we
we make
make
the
the beer
cheese
cheese
dip.
dip.
The chips we had in that, holy Lord.
I'm sure they're like
I don't know if we
5,000
made a
calories
call
chip.
out to what brand that was
No,
on
I
the
don't. Even,
show.
I didn't even recognize it.
But we should because those were amazing.
Yeah.
But
So all right. So
I
C from
digress.
both of us, right?
C minus. C minus.
All right. All right. You talked me into it. I'm gonna go C minus. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's drinkable. I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna finish this Red Dog, but just the same, it's not that great a beer, and it's not that good a beer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with what the man says. All right, everybody, if you have some beer suggestions, well, we don't exactly take beer in the mail, but we do take your donations. And when you do a donation, watch on that screen because there's a spot where you can say which beer you want us to find. I've got a list right now from a few of you out there, and we've been looking, And a couple of them are ones that we've reviewed in the past that you think we need to try again.
Yes.
Like the La Terrible.
Yes, from Unibrow.
We only had one bottle, and it's possible that one bottle was bad.
Now, I want to give a shout out here for those of you who do watch the show. That specific La Terrible from Unibrow, we just panned it. I've tried many Unibrows since then. I've got a fridge actually full of Unibrows at home. About half of them I hated, and about half of them I liked. So I'm kind of going with the fact that maybe that La Terrible really was, in fact, terrible.
It might be.
It might be.
But
I'm not against Unibrow.
You can always send us a little beer catch that way if you want to try a specific beer, or check out the forum.
Absolutely.
Over at JupiterColony.com.
Jupiter, that's right, it moved.
Yeah.
I was about to say JupiterBroadcasting.com/forum.
That will redirect.
That will redirect.
Yeah.
But that's not the right place now.
So I think that just about wraps up this
That
episode.
just about does. We got some more beer that we've got to drink today.
We've got another cheap
you've
beer
got to
episode
wait
coming
for
up.
it.
That'll be next week.
Next week.
We try to get a Beers Tasty out every Friday that we can.
We do.
So if you
Well, what do we got coming up next so that the boys can drink with us?
I think it's from Budweiser. It's one of their specialty beers, I think, but it's one of their cheap specialty beers, right?
It's the cheap specialty beer from Budweiser. I can't remember what it was.
Red can.
Red can. It says across the top that it happens to be alcoholic. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
If you
yeah,
find
yeah,
what
yeah.
we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting one. So be
That's
sure to
the
tune in
next
for
one.
that next Friday.
You bet.
Should be out then. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Beers Tasty. See you in 1 week. Cheers, Brian.
Cheers, man. C-. Oh, it burns a little. Oh, don't chug this beer.
In your mouth.
In my mouth. Down the throat. Feeling a little throaty right now, Chris. A little throaty.